Hello, Kiwanis members. This video is about how to communicate in times of crisis and or uncertainty. And this applies to whether you're speaking to a group of peers or if you're talking to the people or children who you serve or a group of employees or anybody else. So first of all, why bother? Why communicate in a considered, careful way when crisis or uncertainty is happening? You might feel pretty good about what's going on. All right, I got this. I'm just gonna jump in and let's take action. Let's start moving here. And maybe your whole leadership team feels the same way. But crisis and uncertainty can be very difficult for people, and probably some percentage of your audience is stressed out. Their morale might be reduced. They could even be close to burning out. And if their morale is down, they might be dragging down people around them. Not that they're trying to, but just it's contagious. So by addressing things and having them feel better, you will be more effective with happier, more engaged people. The second thing is, if you've ever dealt with rumors or gossip, you probably know that those are very unpleasant and challenging things to deal with in any group. Now, humans are wired to make up stories. We all are. In the absence of information, people will make up a story to explain what's going on. It doesn't need to be true. They just want to feel better. So they automatically generate a story, whether or not they realize it. And if you address what's happening and communicate well, you're going to minimize the risk of that accidentally turning into a rumor, which can become gossip, etc. The third thing is that disengagement happens when people get the sense that you or your organization are not living their values. If you say you value communication, you care about how each person's doing, like the stressed out example I gave earlier, and you're not actually communicating when clearly people are stressed and don't know what's happening, then they're going to start to check out. They're going to be less engaged and less motivated over time. So that's why to communicate. Now, about how to. First of all, two truisms about communicating in times of crisis. The first is that uncertainty is the enemy of confidence. Think about a time in your life when you felt very uncertain about what was going on. How did that impact your confidence? And then when you imagine getting more clarity and understanding what's happening, what happens to your confidence in that case? It probably goes up. That is generally true. And if you can create a sense of minimized uncertainty for your audience, they're going to feel confident and better as they act. The second thing is that insincerity is the enemy of credibility. Imagine a leader, or think of a time when you've seen a leader addressing any group in a way that felt insincere. How much did you trust that person in that moment? And could you even hear the words they were saying through their insincerity? Versus imagine a time when you heard a leader speak in a way that they just felt so authentic and so much like themselves, and they were just being very real. How did that feel? That generates trust and credibility both. And the tricky thing is, while these two things are broadly accepted truisms, if times are uncertain and you have a situation that's rapidly changing and you can't predict what's going to happen, like we've all experienced with COVID-19 at the beginning, my gosh, what do we do? Then how do you create confidence in that situation? I have 3 tips for that. The first is that the truth is never the wrong answer. If you don't know, then that's okay to say, I don't know. And a lot of leaders feel uncomfortable saying, I don't know, because they have this idea that as a leader, I'm supposed to have all the answers and I really need to be totally confident and certain all the time. Actually, you're a human, and more trust will happen if you admit you don't know when you don't. And that's actually a really important leadership skill to be able to do that. Also, your people don't need to know that you have all the right answers, or even right answers at all. What they do need to know is that you're asking the right questions, because if they know you're asking the right questions, they can kind of follow along with you and trust that, okay, they're asking the right questions, which means they are going to find the right answers. The second thing is Talk like a human. This is that sincerity piece. Don't sound like you're going into corporate speak or legal speak. Do make sure that you're not creating legal liability for yourself, but be human, be yourself, and really come across with the personality of yourself as a leader and your organization. Your people will really know the difference. They will tell that it's you, and they're going to feel so much better if it feels like you speaking to them and not some detached entity. The third thing is always be ready to make a new decision. Instead of using language like, we have decided X, we are doing this thing, say something that's ongoing and evolving. For example, right now, we are addressing this by doing X. We're going to continue to monitor the situation as it evolves, and we are going to, as it evolves, and we are going to update you at Y time. That way, people are going to be prepared to expect the unexpected. And so when things do change and pivot, they'll feel agile and not surprised and thrown off by it. Thank you so much for watching. Best of luck if you do come across a crisis or an uncertain situation. You have some homework that should help you prepare for that if that does come to pass. And thank you again.